Welcome to Glamour Unfiltered, hosted by me, Josh Smith, where we meet some of the most inspiring celebrities every fortnight and we get to the heart of the issues that mean the most to them. And today we are joined by one of the queens of Little Mix. It's Jesy Nelson! Babes, how are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
I'm good, but I mean, I've been on a very emotional journey today because I've watched your documentary, which we're here to promote, which is going to be on BBC. And you talk about, very movingly, in fact, about the trolling you've been through, your mental health struggles, and how you've amazingly come out the other side. Now, for people who might not have seen the documentary yet, just talk me through what kind of journey you've been on personally with online trolls.
Well, I guess I just went from someone who really wanted to perform from a really young age, like that was all I knew, to then going on X Factor, which I thought was going to be the most incredible experience ever, to then it becoming the worst experience of my life. And it was mainly due to social media and how much it affected me. So when it just like, they were like, you know, here's your mobile phone, this is what you're going to have, you need to have Twitter because you need to start engaging with fans, you need to start like connecting with them, they need to start knowing who Little Mix are. I was like, okay, this is cool. But then was just not the experience I expected it to be. It was just endless amounts of comments of what people thought of me and my appearance, and I just didn't know how to deal with it.
What kind of comments were the ones that were the biggest trigger for you?
Do you know what? People commenting on my face. I think I got used to people calling me fat. Because I was just like, okay, whatever, I'd seen it so much. It was when people started going in on like what my face looked like, when people would like, you know, make memes and then people would chop my head off in group photos and like replace it with a monster or replace it with ET or a sloth, and I became like a bit of a joke to everyone, and it really, really knocked my confidence. I just never experienced anything like it in my life, and I thought I would be able to deal with it, and I couldn't. When people knew it affected me, they went in more, and I found that baffled me a lot. Like everyone could see how much it was affecting me, but yet people seemed to want to like do it even more.
Do you think it was easier for you to deal with it because you had the girls beside you as well?
It made it worse because I was being compared to 3 other girls. I honestly think if I'd have been a solo artist, it wouldn't have been as bad. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But I think because I was with 3 other girls and I was being compared to them, it made people have more of an opinion. So if I'd have been on my own, there's no one to compare me to, do you know what I mean? I don't know, but I found it worse.
Because I think as well, I've interviewed Leigh-anne about a similar thing that she went through, so she was searching out the online hate. Did you guys ever discuss it?
No. I knew it affected Leigh-anne though. She's better at dealing with it than me,
How did it affect your own personal relationship with your body image and beauty?
I never had an issue with my weight or the way I looked before X Factor, before social media. And then as soon as I got it, I slowly, mentally started to believe everything that people were saying about me. It just consumed my whole life, every single part of me. Relationships, work, friendships, everything. Eating, like it consumed me.
Because you say very powerfully in the documentary that you started not turning up to work at some points as well. So when you were at home and you were on your own and you knew that your bandmates were out there, because I think you were in like career at one point when you didn't go, what were you doing and what were you thinking?
The way I used to see it was, if I'm not seen with them, I won't get pictured. So there won't be an article for people to then comment and troll me on. So I was like, if I'm not seen with them as much, people won't have an opinion. But instead it caused more of an opinion, because then there was articles, where's Jesy, why is she not with the girls?
What was the turning point when you thought you could come back out the house again?
Well, when I got rid of Twitter, I was addicted to social media. My daily routine was waking up 6 o'clock in the morning and typing the worst things I could about myself on Twitter. Because in my brain, I thought, right, this is how I'm gonna deal with it. If I keep reading these, my brain will eventually get so used to seeing them that it ain't gonna affect me anymore, because my brain will just see it and go, oh, I've seen that already, and it won't hurt as much. It didn't help at all. It just made me more and more depressed, made me a completely different person. And I eventually started speaking to a therapist.
I think it's amazing that you can sit here and say that you went to a therapist and you encourage others to do similar things.
I think people were quite embarrassed almost to say that they'll go see a therapist, and it's like, I don't know, something you should be ashamed of, but it isn't. Everyone's got problems. Since making this documentary, it's helped me so much talking about it, because I couldn't before, like I couldn't talk about it because it made me too upset. I think it made me upset because I wasn't talking about it, and it was like this heavy weight that I was just carrying around with me for so many years. And since I've like been openly speaking about it, I now do an interview and I don't bloody cry.
What did you learn about yourself through going to therapy? What's the biggest lesson you learned from that?
I've really learned that like, as long as I'm happy within myself and like mentally I'm happy up here, it doesn't matter what other people think. Everyone's always going to have an opinion, you can't stop that. As long as I feel good in myself and I'm happy, then that's all that matters.
It's amazing to be able to sit here and say that you've been on that journey and now you're coming out the other side.
It sounds really sad, but I never thought I could feel happy again, ever. Now I'm sitting here like openly talking about it, and I never thought I'd be sitting here making this documentary, doing this interview, feeling confident, feeling empowered, feeling back to how I used to feel, feeling happy again. And that is why I wanted to make this documentary, because there's so many people that go through life thinking that's it, that's how they're going to feel forever, and it isn't. And I think that's why so many people, you know, commit suicide, because they don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. I just want people to know that if you just stick through it and you talk to people, it gets better.
What's been the hardest thing for you to film in this documentary or discuss?
Meeting Sian's mum and dad, Anne and Pud, the girl who took her own life. The fact that her mum and dad, like it's not even been a year since she passed away, could like openly sit there and be that brave enough to like sit there and tell me her story. They must be so mentally strong to be able to do that, and I just thought it was incredible that they want to share that story because they want to help other people. That for me, like, that was horrible.
How did that change you and your perception?
I mean, it was just an eye-opener for me, that like seeing the effects, what it does to like the people that you obviously leave behind. It's another reason why I wanted to do this, because so many people like go online and think, oh, whether they're like having a laugh with their mates and someone's like the butt of the joke, or whether they just think that person's not going to see it. You don't know that, and that person can see that, and that one comment can completely change their mindset and how they feel about themselves. And I just think people need to know the effects that it has on people. It's kind of sad really, because you must feel crap about yourself to want to make someone feel that low. And I think that is why trolls do it, because they are sad within themselves, or don't feel good about themselves, and so by doing that it makes them feel better.
One of the things that really stuck with me from watching this was when your mum said that she'd want to just have the old you back.
Yeah.
Do you ever think or feel that you wish you could take away the fame and never have had to deal with the emotions you've been through?
But it wasn't the fame, it was social media that was the main thing that affected me. And then obviously being in the public eye, I couldn't get away from it, I couldn't hide, I couldn't just take time off and be sad. I just had to roll with it and get on with it. And that was what I really struggled with, like pretending to be happy.
I think as well, you guys have some of the most empowering songs out there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always fist pumping to them and I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
I'm really more empowered from listening to this. But when you're on stage and you're going through these emotions internally, what are you telling yourself to get yourself out on that stage?
I didn't want to be on stage, and eventually my love for performing, and I just ended up hating it. And it stopped me from wanting to go on stage and perform. But the things that got me through it were like fans, seeing their support and how much like our music affected them.
Why, when you have so many positive comments of people being like, you're amazing, you're incredible, you inspire me every day, why do you think you gave more weight to the negative?
Because it was everywhere. It was in magazines, it was exploited on X Factor, I couldn't get away from it. There probably was loads of positives, I didn't let myself see it, because all I saw was the bad ones. And once you see one bad comment, you then see like a million, and then that's all that stays with you. You never think about the positives, because the bad outweigh the good.
What's the most extreme thing you've done in order to try and conform to something you thought you should be like?
I so desperately wanted validation from other people. I just wanted to be Jesy. I didn't want to be Jesy the fat one, just wanted people to see me as normal. I starved myself. I just like punished myself really. And if I did eat, I hated myself. I punished myself and like made sure that I didn't eat for like 4 days. It was horrible, it was just a vicious circle.
So one of the things that we were just talking about was the crying, and how you actually posted about this quite recently, saying sometimes out of nowhere, I'll get these random waves of sadness, I don't know why. Laughing is a natural emotion, so why do we stop ourselves from crying? If I feel sad, I now let it out.
Yeah.
How game-changing has that been for you?
I think that's why I fell into such a deep depression, because I didn't allow myself to be sad. I just had to be happy all the time. And the only times I got to be sad was when I went home and went to sleep, and I'd like cry myself to sleep, and then I'd get up the next morning and I was like, oh, photo shoot, I have to pretend to feel fabulous and happy. And I wasn't. When I feel sad, I'm just sad now. Like, I'll let myself be sad and then I'm over it because I've let it out. I haven't tried to keep it in. If you feel sad, be bloody sad, it's okay.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Because you're sat here right now, you're in love with yourself more than ever before.
Absolutely.
And how amazing is it to sit here and be able to say that?
This is the most I've ever loved myself, but I never thought that would happen. And I think there's so many girls that probably feel that way now and think they're never going to feel good about themselves. But you can, and you will. And it's all about talking and letting people know how you feel. And you will get through it and you will overcome it.
And you should never forget that you're an absolute babe.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, exhibit A, right here.
Thank you.
Don't forget it.
Oh,
Thanks so much, babe. You've been amazing.
Absolute pleasure.
You're epic.
Thank you so much.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And I mean it, you should be so proud of yourself.
You so much.
Make sure you subscribe to the Glamour UK channels now to see more empowering content with such people such as Jesy. And make sure you come back in 2 weeks for the next episode of Glamour Unfiltered with me, Josh Smith. Ding.